tale of...
Oh, you see the marmalade. Yeah, this is Joni. She was named... let me lift her up. Joni.
Hi!
She's very sleepy looking. She was named Jonesy after the Sigourney Weaver's cat in Alien, who was an orange tabby too. But I felt that it was a bit boyish. She's a girl. I renamed her Joni after Joni Mitchell, who is kind of blondie as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's Jonesy Joni. Yeah, the alien cat.
The alien cat.
Yeah.
It's funny how we don't realize we age, right? Like we can look at ourselves in the mirror, but we don't really see that we've aged until we meet our peers.
Yeah.
And then we realize, oh, okay. This has
Yeah.
transpired, right? And we all look different. And so it's like a mirror, right? Like a reflection. Like, okay, you know, this is where we are. It's quite
interesting. Yeah,
it's just very interesting and quite mind-blowing, you know, at times. I read this post about this lady who experienced this, you know, she midlife, and she is like, you don't experience yourself aging, right? And then she saw somebody and she kept thinking, oh, you know, this person is quite why is this person so interested in me? This person is quite old. And you know, like her mind...
Too old for me.
I think her mind was still in her 30s, 20s.
Yeah. So cute.
So funny, right? And then she saw both of them in the mirror, like a reflection. Like, I think they walked past some building. And she realized, oh my God, we look the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So funny. Yeah. I think the aging process is quite an... I think it takes a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah.
Even though it shouldn't.
Well, thankfully, it's not something that happens suddenly. Thankfully, it's gradual. Can you imagine how we would feel? We'll be like in shock every day, like, oh my gosh, I look 5 years older today, you know. It's just so gradual that it's acceptable. Yeah. You almost forget that you're aging. Yeah.
I think the shocking part is the self-realization, right? Because you internally, you still feel the same, you know, your thought process is there. Like your likes, your dislikes, they're all the same. But the physical, right?
Yeah.
The physical has changed. And so I think that is shocking for a lot of people to look at themselves like, oh my God. I didn't realize.
I don't know. For me, I'm quite aware. Maybe because I don't know, I definitely don't have the energy level that I used to have. I cannot do many appointments in one day and still, you know, push into the night and be fine the next day. I'm no longer like that. So that is one very, very clear indicator for me. Even if I don't realize how aged I look, I realize that physically I don't have that kind of energy. So I'm aware in that respect. Not so much in the way I look, but in the way I feel and the way I move and everything.
Okay. Is it like no physical energy or no emotional energy?
I have emotional and mental energy.
Okay.
But literally, I cannot do more than 2 appointments in a day. I will be wiped out. Like, I will just feel like I'm going to sleep at 9 today. You know, that kind of feeling? Yeah, like a baby almost. Yeah. But I can still think and analyze things, but I just physically, I need to like crash. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even thought processes, I definitely don't think the way I used to anymore. Yeah. So if it's age, then I'm quite aware. Yeah. Like I don't see people in the way that I used to. I don't react to them in the way I used to.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't call people auntie loosely or uncle loosely anymore.
Mm.
Like I would just call people, hey brother or boss,
Yeah.
or sister, or ma'am, like as a sign of respect. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like, who you calling auntie, like, how dare you call me auntie? You're older than me, yeah. Or how dare you call me uncle? I'm only like 48 or something, right? Some people are
Yeah.
just very arctic in their demeanor, but they're actually not that
Yeah.
old. Yeah, so I dare not.
Yes.
And I'm also constantly reminded lah by our nice Chai Fan people. Last time they'll say, girl, when you were very young is girl, then or 小妹, then as you start to work it's like 小姐. Okay, then in your 30s still 小姐, 40s they can still call you 小姐, then now they call me 阿姐. So I know it's like I've reached a certain bracket that it's undeniable. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once the Thai fan people, they are like the standard, the yardstick, right? The generic yardstick. If they call you Atie, you've hit 50 and above. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be in touch, I guess, with
Yes.
reality.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel a lot of women suffer, or maybe men too. I'm not sure how much men suffer through this of denying.
Mm,
Self-denial can be so poisonous that when
mm,
reality
mm.
hits, right, I think it hits them quite hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not a good space to be in.
Mm.
Because then everything that you're supposed to go through all happens all at once, like the grieving
Yeah.
process of
Cannot.
losing your
Cannot.
youth, or
Yes.
losing, things,
Yeah.
losing opportunities.
Lost youth.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people go through
Yeah.
that, especially in
Yeah.
social media age.
Mm,
Um, and it's sad, like you are grieving.
mm. The
It's like other
you
people
that,
can see it,
yeah.
right? Other
Yeah.
people, but then you haven't caught up
Mm,
with it.
mm.
Yeah. So I've had clients like that who struggle.
Oh,
Mm.
oh
It's
dear.
it's a real it's a real kind of depression that people
Mm,
go through. And then I take them through the grieving process because they do need to grieve because they didn't get a chance to grieve, and then one day they realize like, oh my God, I'm so old.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
I feel it's kind of scary to
Mm,
have this wake up like this.
right. It's too much all at once. Yeah. It's supposed to be gradual. You're supposed to,
Yeah,
yeah, acknowledge it every year. Yeah.
yeah. But I don't know why the denial game can be so strong.
Okay, I don't understand why the need to deny
Yeah,
in the first place. Like, did you not know that you are going to age? You are not immortal.
yeah,
You're not divine. You are human. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what is the thing there. Maybe because
Resistance.
and I think maybe um it seems to be affecting people who rely a lot on their
Looks.
looks.
Hmm, okay.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
yeah,
Yeah. It hits them harder, of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when that is gone,
Mm,
or you're losing it and you realize it's gone,
mm,
and
mm.
it's like, what else is there, for me to
Yeah.
go back on? Like, who am I? Suddenly the identity is lost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And even I would imagine people who rely on their physical prowess, not just looks, but their agility, strength, speed, and all that. Yeah, that
yeah,
because that's the other thing that will go lah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why the consistent movement, right?
Mm,
Just moving,
mm.
doing whatever, just moving. It's so important. We can't live a life where we're just like sitting around.
Yeah, like just be totally sedentary,
uh,
slothful.
like
It's
couch potato. It's just
yeah,
I think that doesn't help. It just makes things worse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are meant to move. We
Yeah.
are meant to hunt, actually, right? To build and do all those things. But now that we don't have to, food just gets delivered right to our doorstep, literally. Yeah. It's very scary.
Yeah. I make myself walk sometimes. Like sometimes I have more time, right? Then I'll go like, okay, it's easy to order the food,
Mm,
but I can easily walk,
mm,
you
mm,
know, like maybe 3 bus stops down or two
mm,
bus stops down,
mm, mm.
just to get
Yeah, the
something.
circulation going and the heart pumping a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I don't have time, if there's back-to-back appointments, then, then I would either cook or I order, depends. But if not, I think the walking,
Mm.
self-help, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it keeps your mind alert too.
I think so.
When you're out and about,
Yeah.
you have to be on the lookout for everything, right? Yeah. Yeah. And the
Get some fresh air.
stimulation,
Yes.
looking at things, people,
Yeah.
reacting to things around you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think for people who live alone,
Mm,
if you're alone a lot,
mm,
it's very important to be able to get out.
mm.
And there are a lot of midlife women I know who are
Yeah, just ask Angela.
alone.
Angela, she knows, she's got all the stats.
Like all her friends, right? She was saying that day, like, yeah,
Mm,
live alone. And that's where we really need to go out and, just little things that we do daily. I think that makes
yeah,
a difference.
yeah.
Yeah.
My brother lives alone. He lives with of course, he has a dog, lah. So he lives with his dog, I suppose. And he once said that he can go through an entire day not saying a word. But okay, he said it in amusement. He thought it was quite funny, that he manages not to even have to say a word. Because actually, if you don't want to talk to your pets, you can.
Yeah.
Although I find it very hard. I'm sure
Yeah.
you talk to yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
So maybe he doesn't consider that conversation, lah. I mean, with a human being, yeah. So then he laughed about it. But my cousin was so worried about him that he is facing this, and he said she told me, she said, oh no, sounds so sad and like he sounds like he's very lonely. Then I said, I think so. I really thought that he said it in jest.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like I don't have to make conversation if I don't want to. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it's a luxury, like as you get older, you also become much more discerning about and
Mm,
and you're not lonely.
mm,
You do not need other people to validate you.
yeah.
And so you get to choose who you
Yeah.
want to spend time with, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a luxury because I think
Yeah.
many people don't get that
I think
option.
so. Yes, I totally agree with you. I think it's a luxury to live alone.
Yeah.
I mean, to have your really absolutely your space,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yes.
most people have at least a spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if their kids are not with them anymore.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a luxury.
Yeah, it is. And I've had this conversation with other friends before where they ask me whether if I see myself in a relationship
Mm,
in the future, and I said even
mm,
if I do,
mm.
the fella is not going to live with me.
Yeah, and you are not gonna live with him, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So nope, everybody go back to your own home,
Mm,
your
mm.
own cave, you know. I
To
want my space.
decompress and
Yeah.
recharge and
Yeah. And now when I think about it, it's like how on earth
did you ever
I
manage, is it?
yeah. I mean, I think about it, it's like it's really difficult.
We are very adaptable. That's the
Yeah,
thing about
that's true.
humans, and actually even animals.
Yeah.
I guess that's why, yeah.
I
But
can
when
live
you're
with
not in it,
yeah.
it sounds so stressful.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like a lot of work,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can have a lot of animals and I'm fine, I don't consider animals like being in my space. Actually, I
Mm.
like them to be in my space.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
just a totally different vibe. But
Mm.
another human being is like, oh, even when Sasha comes back to visit,
Mm.
after 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, I think I've had enough.
Okay, you really value your personal space.
Yeah, I do. Very, very precious.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's very underrated.
It
This,
is.
yeah,
It is very underrated,
yeah.
extremely. And people dream up of all kinds of things where they'll say, "Oh, you must be very lonely,"
Mm,
or they'll say like,
mm.
"Oh, because you don't have anyone, that's why you say you enjoy." I was like, "What the hell?"
That's why I'm not living with you. Yeah. I think people who need to be with people all the time and have to talk all the time. I don't know. I can, they are like aliens to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's too much,
I
right?
just don't understand why they can't be complete in themselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it takes all sorts of people to make this world,
And
right?
I believe
Some
it's the way we eat and the lifestyle, the stresses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the emotions. A lot of
Mm.
people are not in touch. And that's part of my mission, like
Mm.
my life mission, to
Mm.
have people realize how your emotions are so connected to your physical
Mm.
health,
Mm.
and that it's okay to express them. You just need to know how to express them and
Yeah.
save space,
Yeah. And get healing.
But I think especially in Asia, like it's so
We
it's so
just
common
swallow
and
it now.
normal to just swallow
Yeah.
it. It's really, really bad. So stomach cancer is so, so high. A lot of people, yeah, got stomach
Mm.
cancer, or the heart. Women
Mm.
is breast cancer. It's all of these areas, right, of the body, but you just push the energy
I
in,
see. I see.
suppress and not express. And I guess people feel bad for feeling certain emotions. Like if I'm angry, it means I'm a bad person. Like when we're young,
Gosh.
yeah, when we're young, we were taught that, right?
I'm
Like
angry all the time.
if you're angry, it's like you're so naughty, you're so
Yeah.
whatever, whatever, right?
Yeah. True. That's
And
so bad, right?
very bad. And I was a very bad-tempered child.
Mm.
Extremely. I would throw temper
I
tantrum.
can't I can't tell.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I was a lot of it was suppressed for a long
Told
time.
not to feel anger. Mm.
Yeah. Because I
Okay.
was, like, you're bad. You shouldn't
Oh,
be so bad
okay.
tempered. You shouldn't be like you're this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad until I left home, right? And then I went to seek help, and I know something was wrong, right? And
Mm.
not a
Mm.
healthy environment to be in.
Sure.
And so I
Sure.
moved out, and I think that really made a big
Mm.
difference to how
Mm.
I was, seeing
Mm.
myself, and sought help, did all the things
Yeah.
necessary. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel very damaging when you tell your child that they
Mm.
are bad for
Yeah.
feeling certain
For being angry
emotions.
or disappointed
Yeah,
or sad.
yeah,
Like you're not supposed to cry.
yeah,
Crying is bad. Stop
yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
You end up being a people pleaser, right? You
Yeah.
please
Ew.
people, and
I
yeah,
don't like people pleasers.
yeah,
They irritate and trigger me because I can see through them
yeah,
and it just like freaking like irritates me. Yeah.
yeah. It's you feel like a part of them is like, oh my God, like what made you become
Yeah.
this, where you
Yeah.
have to, and I completely empathize, because I can totally see because I mean, I see it in my own home environment, right? Where people
Mm.
pleasing,
Mm.
uh,
Yeah.
my mom was
Mm.
people
Mm.
pleaser,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
just, and for me, I like as an observer, I see that as a weakness.
Mm.
And I told myself never do that. But
Mm.
unconsciously, obviously, I did that, people pleasing as well, but not in a.
I didn't see you, and I don't. I mean, obviously now I don't, but I never did see you as a people pleaser.
It's a very unconscious thing. I don't outwardly do it, but I think
Okay.
inwardly there's a struggle. Like,
Oh
should
yeah.
I do this?
Okay.
Should I
Okay.
do
There's
that?
this conversation going on in your own head.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I catch myself like, no, I'm
Okay.
not gonna. So that's why
Yeah.
sometimes I can rebel, like
Mm.
things totally opposite.
Mm. Mm.
And I think that's
Mm.
really my saving grace, the ability to rebel. If I,
Yeah.
if I didn't,
Push
then
back. Yeah.
it would be like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, this is maybe a bit off tangent, but since we're talking about um acknowledging how we feel, right, about people and things and situations. So I often confess when I go for confession, this common root sin that happens over and over is judging people. Okay,
Mm,
so I'm always confessing that okay, I've judged people, I have not thought well of them. In my head, I may not say it out, but it's like I think what you did was wrong. Then it occurred to me just recently that actually I'm not doing anything wrong because I'm judging their acts, their words, their acts. I'm not judging them as persons and
mm,
people, but I have to call out something that I feel is not right. And
mm,
there is nothing wrong with that. And that is what Jesus tells us to do, fraternal correction, right? Yeah. And if you don't, that's actually wrong. Yeah.
mm,
So Saturday, every month now I go for this vigil at the Catholic Spirituality Center, and it comes with confession and mass. So I was telling the priest, I said, I constantly confess that I'm judging people, I'm self righteous, but I realized that actually it's not a sin. But I said I just felt like I needed to raise this with you, your priest. And I judge their actions actually, and that's nothing wrong because
uh,
at the end of it, I still love them. And if
yeah,
I'm called to do something for them out of love, I would. So actually I'm not judging them, I'm judging
yeah,
their acts. And he
yeah,
said, yeah, you're right. So
yeah,
yeah, so it made me feel good that hey, it's okay lah. Don't feel like you're always so bad, like judging people. You're not. You're judging their acts, which
yeah,
is just your righteousness,
yeah.
the compass, your moral compass
Yeah.
going that way. And that is perfectly good and fine. Yeah,
I
yeah,
would call it discerning rather than judging,
yeah.
because if you discern that particular act,
Mm,
how they behave was totally wrong
yeah,
or totally uncalled for,
yeah,
you can tell the difference between,
yeah.
what is acceptable and what is not.
Yes, yes.
Maybe using the word judging could be a bit strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we need to discern. If we
yeah.
can't discern, then we won't know.
Correct.
And by
Yeah.
discerning, like you say, we actually sharpen our moral compass even.
Mm, mm,
Then we
yeah.
have a better eye, a better mind to be able to see. Because sometimes it's hard to see.
Mm,
I actually wrote an article today on this. It went out on my newsletter. We
mm,
talk about um, how in spiritual communities we use a lot of spiritual words. It's like words of love. But when spiritual people get triggered, they try to come up like they're on a moral high ground
mm,
and they want to attack you, right? But then
mm,
they cover the
mm,
attack with nice words.
mm.
So then people get very confused. They feel like, oh, they're coming from love because they're using loving words.
Mm.
But they're actually, it's like spirit being
Putting you
snarky.
down.
Yeah, being snarky in a spiritual way.
Mm.
Um,
That's wrong.
yeah, and it happens a lot.
That's Pharisaic.
Yeah, it happens a lot. And it's so covered with
Mm.
spiritual words, right?
Yeah,
And if we can't see that for what it is, and then we get so taken in by, oh, but they're being very nice, they're being very loving when they tell me this, but actually they're taking an opportunity to poke you because they're unhappy with
yeah.
themselves, right? They're not seeing it for what,
Mm.
what is actually going on, what is reality. Because
Nowadays, well, more than I think maybe our parents' generation, people are so afraid to grow old and look old and feel old, right?
Mm,
To the point where they're doing very drastic things to themselves. Yeah. Like our parents' generation, hardly anyone went for plastic surgery,
Yeah.
or when the Botox was unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't know, when I look at my parents' photos at an age that I am now, they look much older, and yet they embraced it. They
Yeah.
had no qualms about being 60 years old and looking 60 years old,
Yeah.
But people nowadays are so, it's as if they think they can live forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they think that they can do something about it to the point where they will never die.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so I'm just wondering if that in itself is a kind of a mental disorder
It
of
is.
sorts, right?
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
from the stress of needing to keep up appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know of someone who started plastic surgery in her late 30s. Late 30s, like you still got
Yeah. Late
so many
30s
good
is,
years.
yeah, actually, I would say peak. That's
Yeah.
when, yeah, most women look the best. Yeah.
But she would justify by saying, it's not that I'm ugly. I mean, she's not ugly. She's good looking. It's not that I'm ugly. I'm just trying to
Maintain.
enhance it.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. I said, but you don't need it.
Mm.
But from what I know, she's like, because you have to keep up with it, right?
Yeah.
Once you've done it,
Yeah.
I think she's been trying to maintain it.
Oh.
And after a while, it's not going to work
Yeah.
because then
Yeah.
you see the very obvious, the cuts and the whatever, right, has been
It
done.
just looks weird, lah. It doesn't look natural. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, it's a lifelong thing. You have to keep doing it
Yeah.
regularly. Yeah. I saw a video on TikTok. This woman who had been going for Botox regularly, she's 50 years old or something. That's quite young, right? 50. And then she decided to stop for a few months. And now she looks, to me lah, 60
Wow.
or even older, mid 60s, late. It really, she's Caucasian, okay? So maybe their skin is a bit different from Asians. Yeah. Not as elastic, I feel. So she's got deep lines and like really aged, like scary aged. But she seemed very happy about it. She said, "Oh,
Okay.
I wanted to see how I look without Botox," and yes, look like she didn't feel bad about it. But I felt bad for her because I was thinking, you have been going for Botox like for a long time. You just stopped for 3 months, and now you look like that, and you're only 50.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know what
Yeah.
for. Yeah,
Yeah. Because then it's not a gradual aging process.
yeah.
It's just, yeah, once you stop, it's just very drastic. Yeah. It's crazy. There was a post that's going viral about this lady. I think she's in the 60s, and she did a facelift, and suddenly she looks like she's 30.
Oh, but nice, 30.
Can't tell. I mean, can tell. It looks like she's younger, but because
Okay,
she still had the stitches, even with the stitches still on, she looked like, huh? Like a
very young.
completely different person.
Okay,
So I think it
okay,
worked for her
okay.
for some strange reason,
Mm,
and I'll send it to you.
okay.
It was an
Um,
interesting one.
maybe she went for there's this new way of doing it where all the celebrities have been doing it. Uh, they don't just make them look younger. They go back to, let me see your photo when you were say 35, and they base it exactly on that face. So they'll
Oh,
do a 3D rendition of your
right.
35-year-old face, and they will cut according to that look. So you don't look like you had plastic surgery. You look like Jennifer Aniston at 35.
Mm,
And apparently a lot of the top stars have been doing it, that
yeah.
people can't tell. They're just shocked that how come she looks like when she was doing Friends,
Mm,
Yeah. So maybe this woman
maybe.
did that too, because
Maybe.
it's a newer way of uh cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how long can you maintain it? Because after a while, the skin will.
You won't have enough to cut
Yeah,
already. Yeah.
and then
Yeah. I think it's a once in a lifetime thing.
okay, hopefully, hopefully
Right.
it's once in a lifetime. If not, then you can't maintain it. Like how? There's no more skin. There's no. Then it looks like plastic, right? You can't even smile.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't move your face,
It's
your
not
facial
normal.
muscles. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, another friend, she's my age, 58. She works in a company where there are many young people. So there's this 30-year-old colleague of hers who has already started going for Botox.
Oh no.
Yeah. So my friend is like, huh, why you go so early? You're only 30. And she said, oh, no, no, no. It's just to maintain, like you said. And then this young woman cannot believe that my friend has not done anything. My friend she looks very youthful for her age.
Hmm.
And she said, you also go, right? I'm sure. And she said, no, I've never done anything. Then she's like, it shocks them that it's possible to age gracefully.
Yeah.
Like to them, there's no other solution. It's the way of the world. Yeah, you just
Mm.
have to do this. It's like drinking water and breathing air. When you hit
Mm.
30, you have to start doing this. Yeah.
Wow.
So weird.
Wow. Yeah, they start very young
Yeah.
now. It's like why?
I don't know. It's a risk too,
Yeah, you
to
don't know
me,
what the long term.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't know what will happen during the procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something could go really bad. You might die, you might become disfigured,
Yeah.
paralyzed. I don't
I
know
think
what
there are
else.
real life cases where someone
Yeah.
died,
Yeah.
and also, I mean, this is just in Singapore, right? Someone died, and then another one had face paralysis after that. It's like you can't move.
Mm.
It's like having Bell's palsy for the rest of
Yes.
life, It's
Yes.
ugh.
Yeah. And I read of a case where a woman could not swallow after that because the injection hit a specific nerve or
Oh
muscle
no.
that controls swallowing.
But how to
So
eat?
she's okay, I don't know if this was true, but I read it in a magazine. She starved to death because she could never take in food anymore. So she had to take food through tube feed, I guess. Yeah, that one
Uh,
you don't need swallowing muscles, right? So I think she literally wasted away. Yeah,
oh dear.
yeah,
You can't taste food anymore. Like,
yeah. That's bad enough, right? Yeah,
yeah,
and then
you know.
she died lah eventually. Like,
Oh,
why? Why do you take this? Do they know what is Botox actually? Is the botulism virus, bacteria? I don't know what it is, right?
yeah,
That was carried by rats that cause paralysis. Yeah, and they are now injecting it into
yeah,
themselves.
yeah. I think people don't know that.
And it's not to save your life, like, oh, because I have, a terminal illness and this is going to save my life, I need to take the risk. This is for what?
I know of another woman. This was like, I don't know how old she is now, but she was a lot older than me. She went for this thing where they put like a thread into her cheeks,
Mm.
and then
I
it
read about it. Yeah.
would
And
kind
they,
of like melt into the flesh, right?
mm,
Just to lift.
mm,
So there's no cutting in that sense, but it was inserting this dissolvable
mm,
to
I,
make her cheek lift.
ah,
And the interesting story about this is she did that because she had a crush on this gay man.
oh no.
But this is a gay man. Like how what what universe would it turn things around where the man would suddenly want to be with her? Like I just don't understand even the whole logic,
She
right?
really thought she could change him in that way.
Because she would go for holiday with the man and the man's boyfriend, but then she
Oh
had a crush
no.
on him, and then she made all these things for him.
Mental.
I'm
She's
like,
mental.
hmm,
It's a mental illness.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and I also know of people who go for blood cleansing. It's like dialysis, but they
Okay.
don't need it.
Okay.
It's not because their kidney malfunction. It's to rejuvenate their cells, their whole body, and you just become more energized, and yeah, you're more youthful or
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but it's blood cleansing. It's illegal in Singapore, so
Okay.
they did it in Malaysia. Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah.
Is it legal in Malaysia?
I don't know, but it's available.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can just travel to Malaysia to do it. Yeah,
Wow.
scary, right?
Yeah, I think people do all kinds of things just to
Mm,
stay young or look young forever.
mm.
You can't. I mean, you're not like a vampire.
Yes, it's not natural. It's
Yeah.
not the natural way of things of life
Yeah.
that's meant to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. There was this guy who I think he goes for blood transfusion using his son's blood. He's quite a well-known guy on the internet, and he came to
That's a
Singapore.
vampire, all right.
Yeah, he came to Singapore to give a talk about how
Huh?
to it's like this anti-aging thing, you know.
Okay, okay, one of those.
Um, and he just looks like the face just doesn't
Very
look real,
artificial.
very artificial. And I mean, he's interviewed all over. You can let me go and find. He actually came to Singapore to promote it.
Oh,
I'm not sure whether Singapore is trying to, Singapore being Singapore, right? Want to make itself a medical hub.
okay.
I think they
Uh,
want to set up something like that and
right.
invite all the rich people, right? And this to
Okay.
me is a lot of red flags because then my imagination starts running wild. I'm not sure whether this is how it's done, but my imagination runs wild. Then isn't it like very easy to just kidnap kids,
Yep,
make them a blood bank
yep,
or
yep,
organs for that
yep,
matter? And I'm
yep.
sure this already exists. Again, not in this part
Yes,
of the world, but
yes.
in other parts of the world
Absolutely. Yeah.
where children, aren't accounted for, like they're just disappeared.
Yes,
The
yes,
organs are being taken, their
yes.
blood is just
Yeah.
crazy.
Um, but isn't his son too young to donate blood, to
I
give blood? You have to be of a certain age.
Yeah, I think he started this process when the son was older, like not a child, but
Okay,
like a young
teenager.
man. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
And then
okay. And
uh
the son willingly let
if
him.
you're the son, you will buy into the whole philosophy, right? Um
The bad parent.
I know, right? Let me find his name. Let me do a search. I
I'm sure
forget
he
his
went for
name.
plastic surgery too, right?
I don't know. Yeah, Brian Johnson. That's his name.
Okay, what a normal name.
I know. Let me share screen.
So all these children that get trafficked now, they get trafficked for other reasons. Okay, yeah, I see it now.
Tech billionaire spends 2 million a year to look young, is now swapping blood with his 17-year-old son and 70-year-old father.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't know
so
what,
he's giving to the father or what?
maybe. So this is
So
how he
this is
looks.
him.
Yeah.
Is that a scar on his face?
But I think there's a mic.
Okay.
But
He looks like a puppet,
I know, right? Okay, let me look for more.
like a marionette.
Brian Johnson.
Oh, he's a tech billionaire already. Yeah lah, when you have money, you want to do all kinds of terrible things with it.
So he's 47.
Oh, that's pretty young.
Yeah. But look at this face. It doesn't look
Okay,
real, right?
yeah. Well, could be photoshopped. He definitely did something to the face, I
Yeah.
feel. He used to look more normal though.
Yeah, now he doesn't look normal. He looks almost like there's something missing, right? Like
Yeah, he looks like an AI robot, like
I
those
know, yeah.
like that movie AI.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, he looks like a robot. So scary. And very pasty
Yeah.
complexion. Here, the middle, yeah, he
He's
looks
not
very
that
normal here.
tall. This one should be
Yeah.
tall.
And then he definitely lost weight. Okay, here he looks a bit like fuller,
Yeah.
more filled out, and then he lost weight.
Yeah.
So the cheekbones are quite prominent.
Yeah.
And the skin lah, I think he went for some micro whatever, microblading, I don't
Yeah.
know. There's all kinds of,
Oh, but what is claimed is he did the blood transfusion, right? But whether it is the blood transfusion that made him look like that, or he
I
did
don't know.
some work, we don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't say that other than that
Um,
he's doing this.
well, he did give a talk in Singapore
Okay.
last year.
It's called the Don't Die Longevity Movement. He is very sorely mistaken that if he thinks he's not gonna die.
Well, I think he wants to preserve his body. Could be.
Okay. One of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna freeze it until they find a cure for everything lah.
Maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, so he was a gathering for people who want to live longer. A gathering for people who want to live healthier. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Okay,
all
that's
for
fine.
that.
Yeah.
But to
But
do
his
one.
his tagline is a giveaway, don't die summit. We're all gonna die.
Yeah, that's like the inevitable, right? Like, why would people think they will never die? Like, what do they want to do?
I don't know. Live forever.
I guess it makes me wonder whether people like this have any spiritual experiences, any connection with their soul. Because when you have a connection with your own spirit, your soul, you will know that
Yeah. There's something beyond this world.
yeah, it's not, you can't just hang
Yeah.
on, to this
Yeah.
world and to this physical form.
Yeah.
Yeah, they likely don't have that experience. I don't know. I need to read this article and go deeper into what is he talking about.
I might see it also as that he unknowingly is actually being used as an instrument to sell this rubbish to people. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, to me, the devil is very subtle.
yeah.
And something that is like that, it's like, oh, it seems so far removed from devil and hell and everything. It's actually his work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dark side definitely exists, and it's usually in everyday lives.
Not a scary monster with horns and
yeah.
pitchfork. No, he doesn't look like that. He may even be very kind, seemingly. Yeah, very beautiful and gentle. Yeah, and obliging, accommodating. Yeah.
Yes. That's why we need to be discerning.
Correct.
So you're on track.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
This has been a very interesting conversation, right?
Yes.
Once again, I'd like to thank Susanna for being here.
And I thank you, Shamala, for inviting me and adding so much, so many ideas to my life too. Yeah, and giving me so much to think about as well. Thank you.
Thank you.